Hey out there, how's everybody doing? This is Liquor Hound, and today I'm going to be sharing with y'all my collection of spirits. Let me turn the lights up. I've been working on this collection over the last 8 to 10 years, and what started out as a pretty small in-home bar has slowly grown into what you're going to see today. As you can tell, it's pretty cramped quarters. They're sitting about 5 deep on this shelf. And I realize it makes it pretty hard to see what's going on back there in the back, with the exception of that little sake sitting up there, but don't mind him. Anyway, I decided I was going to go ahead and make separate videos to where I take one shelf off at a time, let's say, and make a video of part 1 tequilas and part 2 tequilas. And speaking of part 2 tequilas, here's my second shelf. Anyway, if I bust them down into videos like that, then I can spread them out on a big table and talk about what, if anything, makes certain bottles special or collectible. And I'll try and share what little knowledge I've acquired with y'all. As we drop down below the second shelf of tequilas, we are at the Rums. Again, I like to specialize in collecting those discontinued, hard-to-find bottles. That RL seals right up front, along with that Planter's Gold right beside it, are very, very hard to find. So if you have access to them, you need to grab them. They're sharing half the shelf with my Scotches. I have 36 Scotches. And I say Scotches even though I do realize that those Japanese whiskeys, along with an Indian whiskey back there in the back, are not technically Scotches. Again, I don't know if I gave you the count on the Rums. I do have 45 Rums in my collection. And we'll drop down a shelf and we'll be at the Canadian whiskeys and the bourbons. And I have 10 Canadian whiskeys. They're on the far left there. And they're sharing the majority of that shelf with 57 bourbons. And if we go back up few levels, we'll go past the Rums and the Scotches and back past the 2 tequila shelves. We will be at my vodkas. I don't have a huge vodka collection. I only have 25. And they're sharing it with 8 gins and a few of the larger tequilas that I use for mixing, or maybe they're just too big of a bottle, too tall of a bottle to fit on the lower shelf, so I keep them right there. In this case that I have tried to my best to seal up, I've used weather stripping and I use LED lighting to try and keep as much dust out and heat as possible. And in there I keep my more collectible bottlings, some of which are impossible to replace. But we'll go over those and see those as I break them down later. At the very top, I just keep a few of the bottles that I keep in their own case because they deserve it, and those are some very special occasion bottlings. So that's it for my bar. Currently I have 301 bottles on display. You may have noticed that you didn't see any liqueurs. And that's because over the years they have gotten kicked out of this display and now reside in a little cabinet all by themselves. I have 41 liqueurs, which brings my grand total of 342 different bottles in my bar. And that's not to mention that I do keep another 260 in back stock of the discontinued or the rare bottlings. That way I'm always ensured to try at least have one bottle on hand at all times. Anyway, thank y'all for looking, and stay tuned because, like I said, I'll be posting those new videos shortly.